Catherine was the first person that I pulled. How does he not, like, see these things in his head? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, when Sammy comes in, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to tell him exactly.
Yeah, no,
if it's a home truth I need to tell him, I'll tell him. Do you know what I mean?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who's B, it's your girl KylerB coming at you with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about Love Island Season 10, Episode 15, because we don't count the unseen bits. And let me just tell you, this episode, they know what they were doing. This episode was a very balanced episode, so to say. I wasn't bored at any parts per se, but I would basically say this was Catherine Island. Like, basically Catherine got her groove back. Like, this was Catherine, okay? Like, yes. So basically, we see the new bombshells, Mal and Montel, and they're on dates with Sammy and Leah. And basically, which is basically dry chats, you know, basically getting to know them. Then they swapped between, you know, Leah and Sammy, and then it went to Mitchell and Jess. While Leah and Sammy were on the dates with Mal and Montel, you know, we see Jess and Mitchell kind of having their own quote-unquote date, just while they're waiting in the background, waiting to see what was said. So back at the villa, we see the girls basically talk about what was going on with the comment that Sammy made. And then we hear, you know, basically they were saying like how, you know, Jess and Sammy don't seem too compatible. And, you know, we see Ella basically trying to compare Jess and Sammy's relationship to her and Tyreek's because they argue a lot and whatnot. So then when, you know, when the other girls were like saying like, we come to Love Island to try to like break those cycles, not just to repeat the same thing or what we're used to, because what's the point of even coming on Love Island? So when Ella realized that she was the odd person out because Catherine was making her point, you know, we see Whitney, you know, backing Catherine and everything. I forgot who wasn't there. I think Molly was there too, also agreeing in the situation, while Ella was over here talking about, oh, Jess and Sammy, you know, they're like us, me and Tyreek and whatever. And I'm just like, girl, Ella, please be quiet, because Sammy does not even rate Jess at all. Like, you're fighting for a guy who basically doesn't even care for Jess. He even clocked Sammy a while back and said, you're only clinging to Jess because she wasn't in the bottom three, and, you know, she's viewed as, I guess, popular or whatever amongst the British public. So after they come back, before that, we see Sammy basically, you know, he's kind of heated. He was very much bothered by Sammy's comment. He was just like, yeah, that wasn't it, because you see me and Catherine hold hands, we're cuddling in bed. What do you mean by no physical attraction? Like, that's a very odd thing for you to say out your mouth, like, in front of the entire villa. We also see Mehdi talk to Zachariah about, you know, his relationship with Whitney, and, you know, Mehdi's just like, it doesn't matter who knows the relationship between him and Whitney. It doesn't really matter, you know, whoever knows or whatever. You know, it is what it is. You know, he just knows what he knows within his couple. So, obviously, when the girls came back, we see, you know, the girls have a chat, the guys have a chat. So, the girls are having a chat, and they're talking about the dates and everything, and, you know, they're talking about dates one by one. Next thing you know, we see Jess start breaking down and crying, basically pointing out that, you know, the people who voted for her were fake. You know, basically like Whitney, Catherine, you know, obviously her closest people are fake.
I just feel like so many people have been so fake to me in here.
Oh my gosh, no, not the fake.
I'm not going to lie, I did actually think that a lot more people were going to choose other couples over me and Sammy. Like, even though we had that little bleep, I feel like you would know better how much actually we are compatible and how much we have in common. So I just feel like I feel like it was a cop-out for a lot of people.
It wasn't a cop-out. A cop-out would have been Cat for me.
But I'm like, you went around and voted for Catherine and Scott, so why are you crying and calling people fake over a vote, but you in turn voted for the same people you're crying about. You literally voted for Catherine and Whitney, but you're talking about they're fake because they voted for you. I didn't think we were going to get that much votes, da-da-da-da-da. Like, so they should comfort you while you're crying over this, but they shouldn't feel no way or no type of way about you voting for them. Like, be for real. And she said that it would have been a cop-out for voting for them because they argued. And, like, Whitney had to correct her and say it would have been a cop-out to vote for Catherine and Scott because they're the newest couple. Like, be for real. So, she's crying, whatnot. We basically hear Mal basically saying that her top 3 picks were Scott, Sammy, and Zachariah. We also hear Montel talking with the guys. He's talking about his dates. He basically said he has his eye on Catherine, Leah, and Ella. Basically letting Ty know about a warning. Basically, like, he might be chatting to Ella, giving him a heads up. So they all go to bed. And, now that Sammy and Jess are single and Leah and Mitch are single, they have to, like, basically sleep in different beds or basically share beds with, not within their couples. While also the new Islanders, Mal and Montel, they sleep in like I think they sleep in like the living room area because obviously with them not being able to sleep in the same beds and whatnot, and then 2 new Islanders are in there, it's kind of getting a little cramped, but not really. Because now there's like 14 people in that villa. Anyway, they all go to bed. You also see Catherine and Scott cuddling. Whitney and Meddy's cuddling as well. Zach and Molly doing their same thing. They're always kissing before bed. Just the same usual type situation from them. Next morning, as soon as they wake up, Ella basically just started. She just like, okay, Sammy, or not Sammy, she's like, Mitchell, why were you surprised that we voted for you and Leah? Like, you basically said out your mouth this was a friendship couple. Like, she basically clocked him and basically said, like, this is a friendship couple. Like, why are you surprised that you got votes? And then Leah was like, well, I never said that, da-da-da-da. So, anyway, even before they went to sleep, we also see that Jess said something pretty sly, which was kind of like side eye, big side eye, which is like a lot of people are giving a lot of side eyes. Ella's one. Jess is a definitely major one for sure because she talked to Leah and she basically told Leah, like, or she told Leah and somebody else. She was like, definitely me and Sammy have more compatibility than Catherine and Scott and Whitney and Meddy. And I'm like, they don't really know the definition of compatibility. Compatibility doesn't mean that you're touching each other in public or whatever. It's just who is compatible, who is more, agreeable with each other, makes more sense with each other. You know what I'm saying? Who gets along better with each other. If you can be touchy-touchy with, Sammy and stuff, but that doesn't mean that you're well-suited for each other to be in a relationship with. It doesn't seem like it. You know what I'm saying? Granted, you like Sammy because he matches your type. But Sammy said that you're not his type. He's just basically going along with it and giving you a chance. So, and he basically told you you're not good looking enough to even, waste time for him to be arguing with you. So he really doesn't rate you like that. He's just there. And I feel like one thing that Sammy's upset about is that now that Maya told them that they can't recouple, he's upset that he lost his safety net. Basically, Jess was his safety net. So now he's going to actually put on a graft. He can't go back to Leah because he basically cut off with Leah. So now he's going to have to, like, put on heavy with Mal because who else is he going to run to or move to? He already cut it off with Leah and basically made her cry multiple times and called her a test. He can't recouple with Jess. So he's probably mad that he has to actually work hard in that villa. That's just what I think, okay? Anyway, after that, Ella basically started up right in the morning and talking. Then, everybody noticed that there's like big tension because, Sammy said what he said. He seems like he was mad at the whole villa for voting for him and whatnot. So basically what happens is that, Scott was so mad. This guy was literally backing Catherine from the night on. This man was backing Catherine. Like, he was heated for her. He was upset for her. He was just like, yeah, that did not sit right with me. He pulled up Sammy to have a chat. He was like, yo, what are you talking about that me and Catherine don't have a physical connection? Like, yeah, I want to get to know Leah as well, but that doesn't mean that I don't get along with Catherine. Me and Catherine don't have no physical attraction, things like that.
That I am not physically attracted to Catherine and that we have no physical touch and stuff like that. Like, I didn't like it. I just want to know what you based that off.
At the end of the day, it's, from my point of view, it doesn't look like there is.
Catherine was the first girl that I pulled when I came into the villa.
It doesn't really mean
it was just she was the one that I wanted to go and speak to straight away.
At the end of the day, if I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up. But I'm just saying, I had to make a decision. From my point of view, it doesn't look like you two are.
We cuddled from the first night. And more the fact if you weren't thinking that, this is, even though I have been open about the fact I want to get...
Like, he was very heated. So he basically was, like, telling Sammy off, basically letting Sammy know, like, yo, we cuddle every night, we're holding hands literally at the fire pit. Like, what do you mean about physical attraction, things like that. So Sammy was like, well, you know, I'm not going to pull back what I said. Like, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. Like, I think we are, Jess and him are more, you know, compatible than you and Catherine. So he just didn't care. He was like, I said what I said. I don't really care. Like, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. So then we see Whitney and Catherine basically pull him for a chat because obviously they felt offended with what he said. So Catherine's trying to talk to him, you know, and tell him, like, what you said was, you know, you're not seeing it from the point of view, like, I don't care about the compatibility, but what you said was very disrespectful about the physical attraction thing. Like, why can't she fathom that Scott, you know, actually is attracted to her? Like, why can't she fathom that? And, you know, she's trying to get her point across, and he's not really caring. And then he just said, like, well, it doesn't matter. And she, you know, he made Catherine cry, which is true. Like, he just seemed like he didn't have an uncaring spirit.
You cannot fathom that, like,
it's more.
Scott, like, I don't know.
It could be, but can you not fathom that? Me and Jess
stop comparing the situations. Stop, like, they're all individual situations.
You can't put it down to me and then I can't put it down to you. That's not fair.
I'm coming at you as a physical attraction comment. I'm not telling you.
Yeah, which I just explained.
Like, I'm a girl, I have feelings. You put that out there is mad.
You get on well personality-wise.
Oh, Catherine's crying. Don't, like, understand that,
Catherine, listen.
No, because
you're a
I don't
beautiful
think you
girl. It's
understand
obvious
how,
you're a beautiful girl, Catherine.
It actually hurts.
I'm saying, no.
I think Ella noticed that Catherine was crying, but, you know, I guess because Whitney was there, you know, telling her not to cry and, like, trying to be there as also in the situation. Nobody really got up to her. It was obviously Whitney didn't get up because, I mean, you know, it was under control. You know, she was just lightly crying. She wasn't, like, sobbing or anything like that. But yeah, he did not apologize to Catherine. He just said, oh, I said what I said, like, whatever. So everything we see go back to Mitchell and Jess have a chat. And, you know, Jess is telling Mitchell, like, oh, like, he didn't even apologize to Catherine. He made Catherine cry and he didn't even apologize. Like, you know, that does not look good. Like, I wouldn't want to be with someone like that. Like, now Jess is, like, waking up to knowing, like, oh, maybe Sammy is not a guy that I would like to be with. So she's kind of like, oh, I'm, you know, going to go with Mitchell now. Like, oh, her and Mitchell makes more sense. You know, Mitchell talking up Jess, like, you know what? You know, I mugged you off a couple days in, but, you know, I should have gave you a chance and da-da-da-da. And basically, he's talking himself up, basically trying to make sure that him and Jess have a good connection. And is working. As much as he needs to, you know, be checked out, he's actually grafting hard. Like, it's very odd, but he's doing what he has to do, and it actually is working. It's not like it's falling on deaf ears. Like, Jess actually came around after friend zoning him to actually be like, we actually make sense. And, like, that's really funny. Also, we see new bombshell Montel chat to Catherine.
You'd come watch games?
Of course I would.
And what do you do for work?
I work in real estate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I work in real estate. So I did a year master's in real estate investment and development.
Oh, wow. So you got masters as well?
Yeah.
I'm talking to a real boss right now. Let me sit up.
Jesus. My chat with Catherine, we just got along like as if we'd known each other for ages. She's a very, very intelligent girl, and like the type of girl that I kind of need.
You know, they're having good chats. It seems pretty good. You know, they're laughing, whatnot. You know, he seems pretty interested. It was just a good chat. Like, I was like, okay, you know, he seemed pretty interested. You know, Catherine just, you know, obviously she's giving nice flirts and banter with him, so it's a nice conversation. We also see Montel pull Ella for chats. You know, they were asking Tyreek, like, how do you feel about that? You know, how do you feel? You know, he just like, you know, it's just a chat. You just have to see. So he also pulled Leah for a chat, and they're chatting, and the chat was like not giving. Like, I don't know what it is, but it really does not give whenever Leah's kind of chatting. Like, it was not like Catherine in his chats or even Ella in his chats. He basically told Ella, like, you know, he would usually go for her, but since you're comfortable with Tyreek, he's not really gonna make a move like that if you're not gonna really reciprocate what he's putting down. Like, if you're gonna reciprocate what he's putting down, then maybe he will move to you. But if you're not and you're very comfortable with where you're at with Tyreek, then he's gonna, like, you know, make his chances to somebody else who's open, like Leah and Catherine. So he basically told her that, and basically that was basically their conversation, like, you know. So then after that, which seems like a forced apology, we see Catherine and Sammy have a chat again, and he basically apologized, you know, for making her cry. And he's like, oh, you know, you're beautiful and whatnot, and this and this and that. It was just basically like, you're not understanding where she was coming from. Like, what she said was very coded, heavily worded, which was just like, yeah, no. Like, you didn't realize when she was crying to even say sorry. You had to be told to tell Catherine sorry. Like, it was obviously a forced apology, because the fact that you saw somebody crying and you did not say nothing at all and basically just said it is what it is kind of just like, yeah, you didn't care at all. So obviously he apologized. You know, Catherine, just as a nice person that she is, you know, she accepted the apology, went about her way. Later on, they're getting ready for nighttime, and, you know, we see Leah basically tell Molly, I think Molly or Jess, that, oh, Scott has to talk to everyone tonight, because I'm just like, what do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean he has to talk to everybody tonight? He already narrowed it down, like, a couple of days ago that he only wants to talk to Leah and Catherine. Like, why is he talking to everybody? He's not talking to no Jess. He's not talking to no Ella. So what do you mean by that? Like, be for real. Be for real. We basically see Leah and Scott have a chat, and she's basically like pulled Scott and basically was like, oh, you haven't talked to me all day, and da 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 da, and like, oh, like, you should have just told me that you're getting on, you know, moving to Catherine and stuff like that. And he's just like, yeah, well, you know, the events that happened last night, he's in a couple with Catherine. Like, why is he not going to back the person that he's in a couple with, for one? And then, you know, because I'm holding hands with her, whatnot. Like, you know, she felt bothered that, you know, he was getting along in his couple with Catherine and stuff like that. And it actually shows you that he never talked to her the entire night. So it definitely shows you he's getting along really well with Catherine. But she was so like, oh, you need to make a decision. Like, she basically like kind of like prompted him like, oh, you should just told me that you made a decision. So he got up, went to the guys. He basically talked about that situation with the guys, and he basically was like, oh, Leo was like, oh, this and that. Beforehand, we see another conversation with Montel and Catherine, and she said, oh, you give me peace.
Bring me peace.
I do.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to hear.
Because you're new, a fresh person.
Oh, because I'm new. I thought it was like...
Yeah. No, you want to be special? You do bring me peace. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, the conversation was on flirt. Okay, Catherine was on her A game. Like, Catherine got her groove back. Like, don't mess with Catherine. Like, Catherine was sad because Andre left, and then she was just getting hit after hit after hit. Like, she just got to go back to a new couple, get to know the guy again, and then she had to do this whole vote thing. People are pointing, you know, talking about her and stuff like that, about her relationship with Scott and stuff like that. And then, you know, now we see, you know, Catherine's smiling, she cheesing, we see Montel trying to get to know her. Like, okay, I don't know how, you know, serious he is about this whole grafting Catherine, but their chats are really going well. they're going well. So she goes back to tell the girls, and they're chatting and whatnot. And basically, we see Scott get up from the guys, and he basically told the guys, like, I'm going to pull Catherine. He pulls Catherine for a chat. Get onto the terrace. Oh, my gosh. Like, you should just see everything that pans out.
Catherine.
Yeah.
See that smile?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Don't come with me.
Pulls Catherine from the terrace. When they're walking to the terrace, we see Molly roll her eyes. We see Zach actually was smiling for Catherine. They go to the terrace, they're chatting and whatnot. And next thing you know, Scott pulls her in for a kiss. And that kiss was long, okay? It was long.
I feel like that's enough program.
And that kiss was long. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, 10 Mississippi's, like, in, like, it was a long kiss. Like, I was like, oh, it was just going and going and going. I was like, okay. And they just seemed like, okay. I just hope she just gets to cast it more. And I feel like she did get cast it more. Like, I don't really care if he's real or not. But, you know, I have to, you know, he has to, you know, prove to me a little bit more. But he really did his thing today, because from defending and backing Catherine the entire episode, doing this, he went up in my books a little bit. He went up in my books, but I need to see a little bit more, because we're not gonna get fooled again. Like, we're not gonna go back through this. Okay, we're not getting fooled. We're not getting fooled. Okay, Catherine has her options open. Like, she was just talking to Montel. She just got kissed on the terrace. Like, yeah, my girl. She went up. She went up, okay? So, that was basically the end of the episode. We see the preview, and the preview put Zach a liar on blast.
Tomorrow night! Never have even a couple times. I feel like I was very young at the time.
Once a cheat, always a cheat, Zachariah.
If someone can justify cheating, then who's to say they won't cheat again?
They're doing this little truth or dare game, I believe. And he basically admitted he cheated on somebody, I guess twice when he was younger. And they were like on him. They were like, oh, who wants a cheater, always a cheater. Like, they were on him. And then we just see Molly basically, you just see Molly just basically like look in disgust, like, you know, basically shocked that, you know, he was a cheater and stuff like that. So basically, Zachariah is going to get some lashings in tomorrow's episode. I just need to see the aftermath after that kiss between Catherine and Scott. Let's see how that moves, like what's going on, like, you know, how they're moving. What's Montel gonna do with this information if he finds out that Catherine and Scott kissed for the first time? You know, how he's gonna move. Let's just see what's gonna happen, because we need to see what's the dynamics like. Is she gonna be locking it down with Scott? Is she gonna keep it open with Montel? Is he going to keep it open with Leah, even though he did say, you know, he's open with Leah? So people were kind of confused with that situation, but I feel like that just showed, yeah, he picking Catherine for real, like, for real. Yeah, so that was basically today's episode. It was enjoyable. Like, I liked it, you know. It was basically very balanced between different people, different couples. Basically, now that Leah and Mitch, Jess and Sammy can't recoupled, there's no point in them having chats, because you're not going to be able to recouple. So might as well take your time and energy into somebody else, which that's what he's doing with Leah, and that's what he's doing with Jess, with Sammy. Mitchell's doing with Jess, and, you know, Sammy's talking to Mal. And that's where it seems that is going. If Sammy talks to Mal, Leah's open to who? Maybe Montel, but we have to see. That was today's episode. Very enjoyable one. We just have to keep our eyes out for Selena, okay? Because a lot of people in this villa are giving haterade. We just gotta keep it a buck because a lot of people are giving haterade. Granted, everybody's here for themselves, but you can just tell the haterade is in the air. In that villa, it's in the air. Okay, you gotta keep your eye out. Jess basically went down because she was giving a lot of tears over nothing. You guys see how hypocritical she was with crying over the fact that her and Sammy got votes, but then you still went around and voted for your mates, your best friends in this house, as you claim to say, and you want them to feel no way, but you're crying and being like, oh, they're fake. Like, people had to get voted for. Like, they had to get voted for. You didn't vote for Molly. You did not want to vote for Molly and Zach. So, be for real. Be for real. Anyway, this was today's episode. If you like the video, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and concerns. And you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.